28 days or less to a more peaceful and joyful life. Hello and welcome. Today I'm taking a look at 7 of my books that have helped in terms of getting perspective back on track, giving me some food for thought, and some are actually programs to work through. So let me know in the comments down below whether you've heard any of the authors I'm about to talk about, or whether you've actually tried the different steps that are mentioned throughout these books. If you have a great 28-day program or an author that inspires and uplifts you, in the comments down below, as I'm always looking for new authors to read because I enjoy reading different viewpoints. The first book, and this was just super fun, is The Oculatum. And I've done a video on this before, so you can go to my channel page and in the video catalog search The Oculatum. It should also show up in my personal growth playlist. This book is just fun because it doesn't matter which way you open it up, it doesn't matter which way you turn it. There are inspirational sayings, and with this particular book, you just start with the thought, and over the course of a few days, you open up your book in the morning. So the first thing here is, life is full of choice we dare not to see. And you keep that thought, that little quote in mind for the day. And basically that saying, we need to look at our options and other choices that maybe we aren't paying attention to right now, that will actually give us an answer or some solutions to whatever it is we're going through. And so each day you pick out a new saying, you think about it throughout the day, you stay mindful and aware, and within a few days, you should be feeling calmer and more at peace, and you may even have a solution to whatever it is you were thinking about. Now, this next book is 28 Days to Discover Your Authentic Self. This is called Soul Coaching, and it's by Denise, Linn. So each day you have activities to do. You can decide which activities you want, how in depth you want to go with it. I've actually done this particular process twice. Each time it's been a new experience. I've enjoyed it. I've learned a bit more. And it was just fun to do. She had some great ideas and suggestions throughout the book. So if you enjoy doing things like that at home, I set up a separate journal to keep track of the different things that I was doing. And it, like I say, it only takes 28 days. The activities are fairly quick and easy to do. The next book, and I've already done a video on this, 21 Rituals to Change Your Life. This is by Theresa Cheung. I believe I'm saying that right. And again, easy to incorporate into your everyday life. What I did is I went through, I wrote out all of her suggestions. There are 7 to do in the morning, 7 in the afternoon, and 7 in the evening. Now, her recommendation is to do all of these for 21 days consistently, and then see for yourself if it's made a difference in your outlook, in your thinking, how you're moving through the day. I personally didn't do that because as I went through the list, I already do 15 out of the 21. I don't do them the way she has them set up or even in the order that she had them, but I do them in a way that works for me. And to me, that's a crucial part of any of these books, whether you're doing something for 21 days or 28 days. For me, it has to be something that I can, one, incorporate into my day-to-day living relatively easy, and two, it has to be something that I can tweak to make it my own, which makes it more meaningful. The other two that I'm about to discuss are short reads, but excellent resources. The first, A Practical Guide to Personal Freedom. This is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I love that on the front of this he has the four agreements in summary form. First, be impeccable with your word. And I've done videos before about words matter. Don't take anything personally. Excellent advice, because when people are spouting off, even when they're saying some very nasty, hurtful things and trying to throw it in your direction, it's always important to remember those words say more about them and what's going on currently in their life than it does about you. So it's just best to walk away. There's no point engaging and continuing that going. And I know, believe me, easier said than done, and no, I haven't always successfully done it. Next, don't make assumptions. Again, and it's really challenging with social media because you don't have the person in front of you, so you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know what's motivating some of the things with them. If you don't have all the information, then you're making an assumption, and that rarely works out well. Make sure you check things out. Don't just assume. Say, for example, someone hasn't answered an email or hasn't texted you back. You don't know what else is happening with them. They may have missed it. The email may not have been delivered. I've had that happen a few times. So check your facts and be sure of things. Don't just jump to a conclusion without having all the information. The last one is always do your best. And your best is going to vary day by day. I was talking to a friend the other day about when I started my Life is Great Because journal. And I actually need to do that today. But what I do when I'm consistent with it, or I just need to give myself a kick in the butt to get those positive things flowing again, I call it my Life is Great Because list, and I go through everything I am grateful for. And like affirmations, you put it as it's already happened, not I wish this would happen. It's I am living a peaceful, joyful life. So you're putting it as it's happened. When I started that particular list, it was during my back injury. And for the first few days, all I had was I got out of bed, I got dressed. Yay me. And as I continued doing that over the course of several days and several weeks and several months, of course, that list increased to focusing on all kinds of things. So, was the day sunny? Did I spend time with my kids? Was I back to work? All the different things that were going right. And this is the current journal that I use. So, don't forget to be awesome today. And as I say, as I did it, and I'm not going to show the list because they're kind of personal, but initially, I started with 2 things, and now I list both pages full of items as I'm doing it. And I just find that when I'm doing that, particularly when I do it first thing in the morning, it gets me in that place of gratitude and, more importantly, focused on everything that's going right. And if you can stay in that headspace, which I know when there's all kinds of things happening is easier said than done, but this, even if it's just for a few minutes of peace, gets you into realizing even on those total crap days, there are amazing things happening. You just have to sometimes look a bit harder to see them. So, Don Miguel Ruiz, it's a short read, very powerful. Okay, here, if you've seen my video on my bulletin board, here's all my positive sayings, and there are the 4 agreements. Now I'll leave it like this for now because The 4 Purposes by Dan Millman, another short but very powerful read, and there are the 4 points from this book. So for me, reading is getting a positive perspective, but it's also about incorporating it into everyday life. And that's sitting right next to where I'm either doing my paperwork or making my videos. So if I'm having kind of a meh moment, then I can look over to my board and remind me of those things. I also used to have sayings down below it. I've now moved them over to my other wall, and I'll include that in another video, but it's about priorities. Up there I've got be the change you want to see, don't give up, great things take time, and every day is a new beginning. Take a deep breath and start again. So I have all these things around to get me in the right frame of mind. So Dan Millman, again, an excellent read. It's short. He talks about, and I can look at my card here, life lessons. In other words, we have challenges, we have what we feel like are obstacles, but if we view those as lessons, and what skills are we gaining from that? Are we finding out that we have people to support us when maybe we didn't realize that? So life lessons. What is the difference between a career and a calling? And career, we all need to pay bills. You need to have that job to pay those bills. A calling is what makes your heart sing. And if you can combine those two, so much the better. Life path. So realizing, and if you've ever read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, then you know Santiago's journey. It wasn't smooth. It took years. I'm not giving away the ending, but throughout that's a perfect example of Millman's 4 purposes, going through what you need to reach and follow your dreams. And the final one is this moment. That ties in with Eckhart Tolle. And like I say, so many of these works, the more you read, the more you realize that some people may be saying the same things, they're just saying it in different ways. And that's because different things speak to different people. We all have different things that are important to us, or that motivate us, or that get our attention. So I highly recommend The 4 Purposes of Life by Dan Millman. As I say, it's a short read and definitely gives you things to think about. And so this moment, be in the now. Right now, this moment, what is going right? In this moment, what do you have to be grateful for? whether that's you were able to get out of bed and get dressed today, you have a job that you enjoy, you have friends who make the effort and take the time to keep in touch, you have wonderful fur babies that you get to spend time with. Whatever it is, and it's going to be different for everyone. So don't compare or think, oh, so and so has it better or whatever. Appreciate and be grateful for what's going on in your life. And if there are things that you want changed, then tweak and change them. As I made a note of from 21 Rituals, thoughts without action equals nothing. So step 1, decide what it is you want. Check into what it is you need to do to make that possible. Realize it isn't going to change tomorrow. Whatever the circumstance you're facing right now didn't happen in a day. There were a lot of other things going on. Take a breath. Make a plan. Be realistic. Make it doable. In other words, set yourself up for success, not failure. So be sure that these are things you can do, that you can manage, understand it's going to take time, and you're not going to do it tomorrow. But some of these things may take a year or 2 or longer, and that's okay. If you're staying focused on that and doing all the other things you need to do to get there, that's the part that counts. The other side that people sometimes forget, and this came up in The Devil and Miss Prim, also by Paulo Coelho, is sometimes you think you wanted something and you've asked for it and you got it, and you realize it really isn't what you wanted. So sometimes it may seem like the universe isn't working with you, it's working against you, but you need to take a look at the big overall picture. And when you're putting things out to the universe, always remember to add, for my highest good, for my highest healing. In other words, the events that are coming to you are either going to make you stronger, going to give you skills that you need. When you're in the midst of a really challenging situation, it may seem like it's too much. I was also chatting about this with a friend the other day, and sometimes it just feels like the universe is heaping it on, heaping it on. That old saying, what doesn't break you makes you stronger. But there are times when you really feel like you're going to break. And I've certainly had those moments throughout my life. It was like, I just can't. I'm still here, so obviously I did. But I did because I did the personal work. I made the effort to turn things around, including first my perspective, how I was looking at the situation, and that type of thing. So always keep that in mind, is your perspective, your focus. Do what you need to do to give you reminders, whether that's like me, putting together a bulletin board. I have index cards that I need to redo, and I put little sayings all through the house so that when I'm in that room, I can see that, whether it's, energy follows intention or some other saying. There's a lot of ways to bring that, get you into thinking perspective on track. The one book that I will mention, but I haven't done this one, and if you've seen some of my other videos, no, I am not a fan of The Secret. This is by Rhonda Byrne. I get that for some people it speaks to them. It did not speak to me. But that doesn't take away from the work. The concern that I had with The Secret And ironically, it comes up in Steering by Starlight by Martha Beck, who also said the same thing. The concern with that work is the way that it's laid out. A lot of people ended up in debt, and it didn't help them, because part of what wasn't laid out in that work, and this is where be impeccable with your words comes up, is that it isn't just thinking about my life is going to be much better, or I'm going to have all this money, or money's going to come when I need it. There are other things you need to do. I did start reading this. This is also a 28-day program like Soul Journey. So each day she has a reading that you do, a description of things, and then an activity at the end. Now I'll continue reading it because there are some good points to it, and then I'll be unhauling it and sending it back to the thrift store for someone else who may work through it. I'm mentioning this here because even though this work didn't speak to me, it may speak to some other people. And I always encourage people to check your public library before purchasing something. That way you can give it a little bit of a test run, or go to Goodreads, see what other people are saying about books before you decide to make the purchase yourself. Because whether it's a thrift store or full price or Amazon, whatever, books are still an investment, even the e-version variety. So be sure to check things out prior to. The final book that I want to talk about today is The Little Spark. I've also talked about this in a previous video, and this is 30 ways to ignite your creativity. This is one that you can just open up and decide what it is that you want to work on. So for example, we have, this is funny, Spark 19 is to make a vision board. And I actually have one of those on the other wall. So, and I've done a video about that. Mine's called the Career and Confidence Board. So you go through, what are your goals? What are you working towards? What pictures or words keep you on track? So she has 30 different things there, and you can pick and choose which one you need to do. And some of these just take a few hours, some may take a little bit longer. She has a lot of great creative ideas. You don't have to be a super amazing crafter to put some of this into place. She has little written activities. So this one is inspiration. So she talks about slowing down, daydreaming, answer a few questions. It's a handy little resource for some fun things to do to just get yourself on track. Let me know in the comments down below whether you've read any of the authors that I've mentioned. Have you tried some of the different activities that I've mentioned? Do you enjoy doing 28-day programs at home? I have a number of different things like that. I'll mention some of the other books in upcoming videos. If you found any of this information to be of benefit or helpful, be sure to give that like button a little tickle. If you enjoy content of a bookish nature, if you enjoy nature videos or silly cat videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when I upload content that may be of interest to you. Until next time, take good care.